Welcome. Look, in today's globalized economy, expanding your manufacturing over to Southeast Asia probably seems like the ultimate growth hack, right? The narrative is always exactly the same: abundant resources and dirt cheap labor. But as a cross-border entrepreneur, looking only at the surface is a critical mistake. The absolute greatest threat to your overseas expansion actually isn't product failure. It's not a lack of market demand either. It is a hidden, dangerous legal minefield that we call the compliance trap. So, in today's explainer, we're going to dissect exactly how you can use artificial intelligence to navigate these minefields and build a totally unbreakable corporate structure. We've got a lot of ground to cover today to help you build that highly compliant, risk-proof enterprise. Our roadmap starts with the real allure of Southeast Asia, uncovers those hidden labor traps, dives into a real-world case study over in Cambodia, and then we'll explore the AI legal revolution that's going to future-proof your global supply chains. Section 1. Expanding to Southeast Asia. To really understand the risk here, we first have to understand the massive allure that is driving global supply chains eastward in the first place. It is all about that stark contrast in entry-level labor costs. This is exactly what tempts foreign investors. Think about Vietnam sitting at an average monthly minimum wage of around $342, and Indonesia right there with them at $350. Then you compare that to a place like Malaysia at nearly $800. If you're running a cost-sensitive, labor-intensive factory, those lower numbers, they look like an absolute goldmine for your profit margins. But honestly, that's exactly where the illusion begins. Prioritizing only that lowest unit labor cost ignores some absolutely critical factors. You really have to weigh things like infrastructure quality, regulatory transparency, and the actual skills of the workforce. If you jump into a country purely because the monthly wage is low, you might be stepping directly into a regulatory nightmare that ends up costing you tenfold in operational friction down the road. Section 2. Hidden Traps and Labor Law. And this brings us to the core issue of today's explainer, that compliance trap lurking right beneath those super attractive wage numbers. Let's think about a collective bargaining agreement, or a CBA. The really crucial point here is that failing to understand local mechanisms like CBAs can literally paralyze your operations immediately after opening. In a lot of these jurisdictions, once workers organize, they have the statutory power to collectively bargain for much better benefits than the law strictly provides. If your corporate structure hasn't accounted for this, well, you are caught entirely off guard. Section 3. Cambodia Compliance Case Study. Let's make this totally concrete by looking at a real-world scenario. Imagine you're setting up a labor-intensive garment factory in Cambodia, which is a country very often chosen for its competitive wages. This is a brilliant illustration of how fast local regulations actually trigger. Under local labor law there, hitting just 8 employees, yeah, you heard that right, literally just 8 people, mandates the election of shop stewards. So many foreign investors jump in completely blind to this nuance. Once you hit that tiny threshold, those workers have the absolute right to form a labor union. You've unknowingly laid the groundwork for union activity before your factory is even fully operational. So what happens next? The environment can become incredibly volatile. The Ministry of Labor often treats union registration like a massive obstacle course. Applications get returned for minor spelling or formatting errors. And while the bureaucracy delays the whole process, unregistered unions lack legal protection, meaning workers sometimes face pushback or even dismissal. It just creates massive friction between an unprepared employer and a workforce demanding their statutory rights. Now, if you ignore these brewing labor disputes, here is the ultimate consequence: a legal strike. Workers hold a secret ballot, they file a 7-day notice, and your production comes to a complete statutory halt. You're suddenly facing immediate operational paralysis, endless negotiations, and severe damage to your brand reputation, all because you simply didn't foresee the local compliance trap. Section 4. The AI legal revolution. Let's move on and see how this builds into our ultimate solution: deploying artificial intelligence as your strategic commander. The traditional approach to this problem is entirely reactive. Companies wait for a crisis to ignite, like a sudden factory strike, and then they throw money at expensive local law firms to put out the fire. It's costly and it damages your brand. In contrast, the modern, AI-powered, proactive approach changes the game entirely. With predictive analytics, AI can foresee compliance risks before you even buy the land. Before investing a single dollar, platforms designed specifically for in-house legal teams seamlessly process these complex local codes. Think of it as your AI commander, running a feasibility study using a totally automated workflow. It handles the intelligent intake of local investment regulations, automatically triages the data, and provides real-time analytics. It doesn't just flash a warning sign at you. It actually provides a strategic roadmap for your business. And hey, the numbers absolutely back this up. By utilizing natural language processing to interpret foreign regulatory documents and complex labor codes, AI identifies that union trap instantly. Improving contract review efficiency by an incredible 65%, AI ensures your employment policies align perfectly with local requirements long before company registration even begins. Section 5. Future-proofing global supply chains. Ultimately, what you should take away from this explainer is that safety and compliance are the absolute bedrock of cross-border profitability. I want you to remember one massive number today: 37%. Companies that are leveraging machine learning for regulatory compliance have reported a 37% reduction in compliance failures. That right there is the difference between a thriving global enterprise and a factory locked down by regulatory violations and costly strikes. Now, of course, there's no magic one-size-fits-all solution here. Selecting the right tool depends entirely on your specific needs. If you need comprehensive legal operations management, Streamline AI is top tier. If your focus is purely on complex contract lifecycle management and AI redlining, Sirion is incredibly powerful. Or if you need targeted legal spend management, Brightflag is an excellent specialized tool. You construct your tech stack based entirely on your unique expansion strategy. So as you plot your next move in the globalized economy, ask yourself, is your corporate structure truly unbreakable, or is it just waiting to spring a trap? Expanding globally doesn't require a massive internal legal team anymore. It requires strategic foresight. To bulletproof your overseas expansion, avoid the compliance traps, and design a top-level corporate structure, connect with Sunny Surge Consulting today. Let's build your global future safely. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.